On my way to the field that day, I unexpectedly came across a little pig. It was standing in a small ditch, curiously staring at me. The surroundings were quiet, and there was no sign of its mother. The little one seemed to have lost its way. It was such a funny scene, like a tiny countryside adventure. I decided to follow the pig for a bit, just to see where it might go. Who knows, maybe it was heading to meet some friends. The little pig wandered along the ditch, mumbling softly to itself. It looked like it was having a conversation of its own. There wasn't the slightest bit of tension. It all felt light and fun. It was like taking a relaxing walk with a pet. I couldn't help but laugh at its curiosity and tiny sense of adventure. Sometimes, the most interesting moments in nature come from these unexpected encounters. I followed the little pig for quite a while, until it stopped at a corner. He looked around, then started poking at its reflection in the water. Completely lost in its own little world. That's when I realized it had wandered into the deepest part of the ditch. The little one was stuck and couldn't get out. But instead of worrying, it seemed totally relaxed. As if it had just found a brand new playground. It kept wandering along, mumbling softly to itself. I slowly walked closer, and the pig looked up at me. Its eyes were full of curiosity. That moment was just too cute. I gently reached out my hand, hoping to help it find a new play spot. The pig operated calmly, as if enjoying a little lift-up ceremony. The whole thing felt lighthearted and funny, a sweet countryside moment. I found a flat patch of ground and gently set the little pig down. The moment its hooves touched the ground, it started sniffing around curiously. Sunlight shimmered on its round little body, soft and warm. Then it wagged its tail and trotted away happily. I watched its tiny figure disappear down the path and couldn't help smiling. Life in the countryside is always like this. Simple, yet full of surprises. A random encounter, a brief moment of company. And just like that, the pig's little adventure came to an end. When I finished and was heading home, I suddenly heard a familiar oink behind me. I turned around. It was the same little pig. It was wagging its tail, grunting softly as it trotted toward me. From afar, it looked like it was saying, "I'm back." I was both surprised and delighted. How did it find its way here? There were so many paths, yet it somehow followed my scent to memory. Panting as it reached me, it looked as if it had come just to say hi. It circled around me, grunting softly like it was telling me a story. That moment felt magical, like meeting an old friend again. Everything felt so natural, so easy, and it made me laugh. Maybe it hadn't found its friends yet, or maybe it just liked my company. Either way, that unexpected reunion made an ordinary day feel extra warm. I softly called out to the little pig, just wanting to say hi. To my surprise, it immediately looked up and came trotting toward me. I couldn't help but laugh at how excited it was. This little one was way too affectionate. It ran right up to me, wagging its tiny tail and making soft oink sounds. Sunlight shimmered on its pink nose, glowing faintly in the light. The whole pig looked like a little toy come to life, irresistibly cute. When I squatted down, it immediately started circling around me. The pig even nudged my hand gently with its nose. It was just too funny, so I decided to play with it for a while. When I looked closely, I noticed a tiny piece of umbilical cord on its belly. Oh my gosh! This little pig must have just been born. No wonder it still walked with that wobbly little step. What amazed me even more was how it managed to find its way to me. It could recognize people and even follow along. How clever is that? Who would have thought that such a tiny life could already have its own little world and curiosity? I looked around the field. It was so quiet, only the sound of wind brushing through the grass. No sign of its mother or any other piglets nearby. It really seemed to be on a solo little adventure. Just as I was about to head home, the pig came trotting after me again. I thought, well, since it's so eager, why not invite it over to my place? Before long, we arrived home together. I thought it'd be nice to introduce the pig to my cat. But to my surprise, the pig was even more aloof than the cat. The cat circled it curiously a few times. The pig, however, just gave a look like, "I'm busy. Please don't bother me." It honestly looked like a tiny pig meets cat social fail moment. Meanwhile, I started getting some milk ready for the pig. After all, it had just arrived in this world, still full of baby-like innocence. This would be its very first meal at my home, so I wanted to make it special. The first time the pig drank from a bottle, it was both adorable and mischievous. It wouldn't drink on its own, I had to squeeze a little out for each sip, and funnily enough, it fell asleep right in the middle of drinking. Soon after, it was time for the little pig to sleep. It slept so soundly. Maybe it was just tired after such a busy day. Every now and then, it opened its eyes to peek at me, then dozed off again. Almost like it was checking to make sure I was still there, watching it sleep so peacefully. I thought to myself, this must be what pure happiness feels like. It's been a week since the little pig came to my home. Now the piglet has grown quite a bit. Its chubby little body looks even cuter. When it walks, its short legs wobble adorably. It's just too funny to watch. When it first arrived, it was still a little shy with me. Back then, the piglet would always keep a cautious distance. It seemed to be watching me, trying to figure out if I was a good friend. But now, it's completely made this place its little world. Piglet often runs toward me happily, wagging its tiny tail. Sometimes it even nudges my hand gently with its nose. The piglet has grown so much, it's rounder and more adorable than ever. It's like it's asking me to play with it. Sometimes, when I sit in the yard, the piglet lies by my feet, happily drinking its milk. Sunlight shines on its pink little nose and ears. It looks so warm and peaceful. Sometimes I gently stroke its back. It always lets out a soft, contented grunt. That cute little sound always makes me laugh. The piglet is becoming more and more well-behaved now. Every time I softly call its name, it comes trotting over with happy snorts. Its round body wobbles side to side as it runs. Just watching it makes me smile every time. Today marks the 10th day since the piglet came to my home. Normally, it would be excited to drink from the bottle. But this time, when I offered it the bottle, it just glanced at it and turned its head away. It's like it was throwing a tiny tantrum. I never expected such a little pig to already have its own attitude. Sometimes it acts like a sweet, sensible child. Other times, a mischievous rascal. It makes me laugh and sigh at the same time. But seeing it wander around the house, acting spoiled and playful, that kind of warmth and joy just fills my heart. This little pig is no longer just a pet. It's become the most adorable little member of the family. Time flies. It's already been 2 weeks since the piglet came home. At this stage, he's growing so fast every day. Its round little belly keeps getting bigger and rounder. The piglet now looks both cute and full of life. Every morning, it's always the first one to wake up. And it loves to nudge me softly with its tiny velvety nose. Sometimes the little pig gently nibbles on my hand and makes soft grunting sounds. Its tiny bites don't hurt at all. They just tickle, like a light scratch. Every time it does that, I can feel its pure and innocent trust. Piglet is just like a spoiled little child, full of affection. Early this morning, I couldn't stop laughing because of the piglet's antics. It was in the yard, happily playing with a few cats. I was completely surprised when I saw that Jing. I thought, when did this little one become friends with the cats? Just a few days ago, it was still hiding timidly in the corner whenever I saw them. But now, the piglet isn't afraid at all. In fact, it's having so much fun playing with its new friends. And the cats don't mind it either. they've fully accepted the piglet. Time flies. It's already the 15th day since the piglet came home. I still remember the very first time I met it in the forest. Its tiny figure looked so curious, yet a little scared. It was hiding behind the tall grass, peeking at me with cautious eyes. Who would have thought that from that moment? Our story quietly began. Now, the piglet is no longer that shy little one I met back then. He loves to play with me every day, acting spoiled and even befriending the cats. Watching it grow day by day and explore every corner of the house. Sometimes rolling around my feet, asking for cuddles. It fills me with such warmth and happiness. Sometimes I think, maybe it already sees this place as its home. From the forest to the yard, from strangers to companions, we've shared countless sweet and heartwarming moments together. I just hope, in the days to come, we can keep sharing this joy together.